Hey everybody, welcome to China Insider. It's the last day of 2024, so I thought we should do a end of the year best of 2024 video where we're going to watch some of the highest views but most viral moments of China Insider throughout this whole year, as well as some of the most shocking news that's come out of China to celebrate what we've come actually grew a lot this year. First of all, Happy New Year's to everybody. And by the way, this is not even my house. This is we're house watching for a friend, so I just thought maybe it's a good time to record this video.
China Fix Everything Part 11. You like shopping on Temu? This man did. His charger is now married to the outlet. And does that chip spy on you? Xiaomi's new EV claims they have an anti-hand crushing feature, so people tested it themselves, and it turns out to be a lie. And not just one EV makers, all of them seem to have this problem. Test it with the chicken feet, it will crush your hands. A boy and another man already did it to themselves.
Okay, so with the EV, I just remember talking about this for a whole year now, and they're still just as bad as they were a year ago. We're still talking about the same topic when it comes to Chinese EVs, communist combustion products.
How about some nice carrots? After some dirt and chemical marinade, they now look farm fresh and organic. And how do Chinese people deal with the flood? Well, apparently through poorly made flood walls that can be picked apart by hand. And finally, check your gold nuggets amidst rising gold prices. If they're from China, make sure
that's so insane. The fact that the carrots, they have to get them out of the ground, soak them in formaldehyde, then mix them and spray some more stuff on top, mix it with the dirt so it looks like that they're fresh from the ground.
Carrots in China can be faked in two ways. The first way is you buy them from supermarkets. They seem to have been washed and cleaned and they look perfectly on the outside, but these could have been soaked in formaldehyde, which is poisonous to the body. The second way is that they actually add the dirt onto the carrots after they've been soaked in formaldehyde to make it seem like it just came from the ground. As this video shows, the testing kit will turn blue, which indicates a high level of formaldehyde, which actually on the Hong Kong imports website, it's banned, but in mainland China, it seems like this chemical is still there on produce. And the third type, as this testing kit tells us, it's okay to consume, which is directly from the farmer's market, but that means every time you buy produce from China, do you really need to carry a testing kit?
This is the biggest story in China right now. A 14-year-old boy was murdered after he stumbled upon two of his teachers having an affair. They tortured him to death, and the family didn't learn about this until 9 hours after. This has led to massive protests since December 27th, but the local government across 3 levels have deemed this as a suicide case. They've stepped in, they've called in police to suppress the protesters, despite injuries suggesting there's puncture wounds and bruises and a broken ankle. The CCP typically covers up this type of event, forces the family to take a lump sum payment, and no further justice can be sought out. This story made it to state media and they continually repeated the suicide narrative, but all the comments are satirical. Like, our 90-year-old village man had twins the other day. I'm a guy, had my period today, and I am 518 years old. Hi, is today the 32nd? Or, hi, my 100-plus-year-old girlfriend is pregnant, what do I do? Yet, this is the reality of China today. Reality is what the CCP deems it to be, to bend.
What's so funny about this really sad case is that people are using humor to try to cope with it online, right? There's no such thing as a 100-plus-year-old girlfriend. There's no such thing as what happens on the 32nd day of the month. But it's the way that they can deal with these type of extremely sad situations, using humor, using sarcasm, and using just often dramatic expressions. So what you'll have noticed throughout the year is that every time some comment about an event takes place, it's always a very sarcastic one, because if they do express their true opinion as it is, then obviously they're going to be taken to the police station.
China Fakes Everything Part 14. This man got a Temu package and it reads quality does not meet standard. I guess the seller on Temu really thought that Westerners couldn't read Chinese, so they shipped it out anyways.
There's that meme on Twitter I saw the other day. It was like a Temu factory caught on fire. Whole Temu factory goes up in flames in China. Total value of loss of inventory, $36.52.
China's version of the Japanese shine muscat grapes is to dunk unripe grapes into a cup full of chemicals and they turn big and ripe. This Chinese variety doesn't taste good unless it's soaked. Now we're back with more Xiaomi SU7 EV. The side panel is coming off on new cars after Xiaomi claims it's an aerodynamic feature. Well, I guess dangling parts are also part of this cheap Porsche ripoff. So aerodynamic. Also, you can use voice command outside of the car to open trunks. Well, China has truly achieved theft superiority. How do you like manual processed chicken feet? Well, this one gives you the added flavor of people's saliva. And there's the rat-infested sun-dried snacks and formaldehyde-soaked veggies and meat. Classic China.
So it's a huge meme right now about Indian food safety, but when it compares to China's food safety videos, it doesn't compare in any way, shape, or form. It's just on a whole nother level of gross and fake in China.
China fakes everything, part 12. Ever run out of flour to make bread? Not in China, just run to your nearest wall and harvest fresh flour. They're vegan, called tofu
Delicious.
construction. Or is it tofu powder?
这个加上这个，能不能？
How about buying a Chinese EV? You're actually buying a combustion engine. Did you know that? Look at this one. Yep, they go up in flames a lot. How about a month-old cooked rice that doesn't go bad? Almost like there's some sort of impossible chemical involved. That can't be right. Trolls in my comment says China is perfect. The rice feels like styrofoam and probably tastes like it too. Rice technology. The CCP wants to rule out fake combat capabilities in their military, yet they have their soldiers spend hours perfecting the art of folding blocks of blankets.
That's so true.
I mean, why not? Since their commanders are busy with girls and pocketing money, what else is there to do?
A medical student suffered a heart attack during a morning exercise period, and all the medical students around her, knowing CPR, was not allowed to help because the supervisor thought she was faking it. Finally, when an ambulance arrived, she had been breathing for 9 minutes. According to information online, this happened because the supervisor had been picking on her after she delivered fish to the supervisor's wife and wasn't fresh. She has congenital heart disease and tried to get some time off, but was denied even after showing a doctor's note. Her 80-year-old grandma is seen here crying with her portrait. Police have arrived to chase them away. The school wants to settle by paying her family 100,000 yuan or 14,000 US dollars. Although the school threatened students with expulsion and not issuing graduation certificates and banned external reports, students and netizens still relate the incident online.
The craziest thing is that this kind of case happens so often in China too. Yeah, so everyone in the comments is saying that it's $14,000 for stopping everybody from saving a life. You know, 14,000 for murdering someone. It's really crazy.
If a Chinese EV isn't spinning its steering wheel like a helicopter, are you even buying the right one? I found this other video from a driver complaining that his BYD EV, which has 3 terrible designs. He complains about the air conditioning being angled in such a way that it is anti-Chinese culture. The AC is designed so that the wheel scrolling controls the speed of the fan. Too little, it doesn't cool. Too much, it blows into his nose and face. The AC either aims at his knees, his stomach, or his nose. And Chinese people are really sensitive to cold exposure as it leads to many health problems.
Okay, so people keep saying that why are Chinese people sensitive to cold? So basically in Chinese medicine and as well as a lot of the common beliefs is that cold causes a lot of health problems. And so for China, people want you to, you know, cover things up, cover up your legs, cover up, you know, your body parts so you're not being exposed to cold. And long-term exposure to cold obviously leads to health problems. So that's why the man in the car, he's so conscious about, you know, the AC not blowing at his joints, his stomach, and his nose, etc.
His second complaint, I just can't stop laughing. He says that the seat on the BYD has a vertical sewing line that runs along the middle. Normally we know that car seats have lines that run across the seat.
Did my man casually say Chinese are weak to cold damage? This is funny. There are no Norths, that's for sure. They literally are scientifically. If you're going to claim that, mind some citations. I think this is hilarious.
And are sewn in a way that you wouldn't feel it. But in this BYD car, that's where it fits like a thong, his words not mine, to the nether region. It cuts right through. And he thought that he had gotten hemorrhoids as it felt itchy and burning, but it's just the seat. Even though it's designed like a sports car seat, it's cheap quality.
Driving a CCP manufactured EV is like playing Russian roulette. Never thought I'd hear car seat and hemorrhoids in the same sentence, but life is full of surprises, huh? Yeah, you're right, the sleep steward.
China Fix Everything Part 6. Are you sure diamonds made in China are real? This man explains his factory can make 5 yuan diamonds that look, shines, and feels like the real ones. Carat for carat, it also passes the testing pen. This is a propaganda shoot from a recent snowstorm in China. Instead of clearing the road, letting people stuck go home for the new year, they had time to film handing things to the driver. Care to eat some eggplants from China? They get a chemical bath first to keep them fresh for longer. How about styrofoam houses? Remember tofu dread construction? A new building used styrofoam with a layer of concrete to build walls. Yes, you can use styrofoam, but not if it crumbles like that. And if it's a large complex in China, it's quite dangerous. Or how about just when you want to pour from a water kettle? It all falls apart.
Yeah, honestly, things like diamonds, gold, jewelry, jade, any of those stuff, you can get it cheap in China, and the quality would be, obviously it won't be the real thing, but you can still get it. So it looks really real. It's a complete replica of the real thing. This is different from lab-grown diamond. This is just, it's fake diamonds.
China Fakes Everything Part 16. These are
Oh, this one's a classic. This is the fake zoo, fake pandas. The panda
These
dogs.
are dogs. Do you like feet-flavored mangosteens? Well, this guy doesn't tell you when he cuts it through, and you're like, why does it taste sour and salty? What about tofuception? Here you have the fake tofu eaten inside a tofu drag building. And this tofu apparently is mixed with industrial-grade lime. Of course it's harmful to your body. What else could it be? How about an iPhone faked so well, there's no way for grandpas and grandmas to tell that it's actually an Android. Now, you might think Temu is an amazing app and their sellers are conscious sellers, right? Not really. Here's a sorting station in China. Just shirtless men sweating all over your packages.
Shirtless men sweating all over your packages. Just how I like it. Let me see the follow-up comment. Team sales rise 1,200%. Friendly fire. That's how COVID was spread. And the smell.
And how many ancient artifacts you buy from China is actually real? Well, according to this video, ancient coins from the Bronze Age seems to just be manufactured in somebody's backyard and turned into excavated artifacts. Anything can be a business in China when the product is fake.
Yeah, anything can be a business in China when the product is faked. Wow, who is this guy? His words are so wise. I wonder what his name is. You should follow his channel and subscribe.
This is a sad reality in China. Amidst job cuts, wage cuts, and the economic struggles, men who lost their jobs become delivery drivers. Women who lost their jobs become live streamers. And when the men get tired from food delivery, they watch girl streamers. And when the women get tired from streaming, they order food delivery from the guys. And then there's also the security guard, a third type. Someone who has basically given up on trying and gets to order delivery and watch streams at the exact same time. What people in China call the perfect circulation of the Chinese economy. And of course, that might be the future for many college grads and regular folks. And that's how society collapses from a lack.
Yeah, it's so true. The young people in China, it's such a terrible job market for them. I saw a guy who posted vlogs, like daily vlogs of him trying to find jobs in, I believe it was Guangdong City, where it's harder to find anything more than 3,000 yuan a month, which is about $400 a month. And that's working 10 hours, no overtime pay and things like that. So college grads have such a hard time to find jobs. That's why live streaming is such a big industry in China. As a security guard, I've never been so offended by something so accurate. Gosh.
China Fakes Everything Part 18. Just another day in the field for the farmers in China. Oh look, they installed a new water pump for us. How nice. Oh, it has nothing on the bottom, not even connected to any water pipe. Maybe I'll just take a nice little drive downtown to charge my EV. Oh, why are they falling over? And why does it look like they use sand instead of cement? Looks like another tofu dread construction to me. Have you ever seen a crab assembly? Well, here it is. This woman is doing precisely that. Instead of catching them in the ocean, she's assembling them.
再拿个钳子，这钳子也给它挨上啊。
Is durian supposed to be dunked in green slimy liquids like this? Does it help the fruit ripen faster, or is it some other chemical?
Brother,
Everything this man films, he says, is actually fake. When you take one out, it looks pretty real, but when you put it with the other ones, well, that's the only time you can tell that it's actually fake. He says that some of them is
Build a crab like Lego, it's crazy. This is one of my favorite videos that I've done is coffin room improvement videos. The Little John.
Featuring Little John and his galvanized square steels. Well, it turns out they're all just real-life depictions of Chinese living. And of course, home improvement videos. This man tours a coffin room. When you get inside by a ladder, it features an open toilet concept, closet for all of your clothes, a second floor bed, classic home design, all of it built using galvanized square steel, and of course, both he borrowed from his aunt. A few weeks ago, we saw a video of the man paying $7 a month to live in a hole in a wall. Perfect time for a new renovation. It's a sad reality in China that people have to live like this, but with all those home improvement videos, sure they can come up with something.
Never thought a joke video is real life situation in China. Yeah, a lot of that today.
China Fakes Everything, I don't know, random edition? This lady may be an earthbender. Or that rock is just tofu drag poorly constructed. This is a police robo-dog in China. Now, it looks exactly like the ones they showed at Boston Dynamics trade presentation, but this one, well, seems to have not received the software update from BD. It flips over like a cockroach. Ever in the market for good quality wood for your next table or construction project? Well, check where the wood is from. If it's in China, they might have faked it. I mean, this might be the most premium wood on the surface, but in reality, it's not.
That is mahogany.
China, of course, fakes real estate projects. These are unfinished buildings that people are now forced to live in. They don't have elevators, they don't have basic utilities, no windows, and sometimes nothing is finished. And because people have paid deposits, they...
Oh my god, these comments are so good. Imagine being homeless and not homeless at the same time. China is the parody version of the worst aspects of each political system. Technically, China right now today is like the blends of the worst qualities of every single ideology, like the worst of capitalism, socialism, communism, fascism, totalitarianism. All the isms are blended into a blender and poured down a CCP official's throat, and that's China today.
This is quite a bizarre story. Xi Jinping recently toured an area producing sugar canes, and he was captured touching them. This prompted tourists to come to this location and rub the sugar canes, turning them into a different color. And it turned into hundreds of people lining up to see this. After the new year, however, the sugarcane field was set on fire by people throwing multiple torches made of oily straws, and the fire burned it to ashes. And now, the authorities urgently dispatched fire trucks to put out the fire and sent a large number of police to the scene to prevent people from taking photos. But some say this isn't the same field of sugar canes that's being burned. But others argue it's not really about the location, but the meaning behind burning it, an act of defiance against everything Xi Jinping touches. Now, Xi Jinping's super weird like that. He loves to look at people's cooking when he visits their homes, and in Chongqing, they even put a toilet that Xi once looked at on display. And rumor even says people lined up to smell it. Other places worship his footprints, his teacups, or the bowl and spoon
that is
he used
super weird.
once. Weirdness overload.
Not even the toilet, but the toilet he looked at once. Yeah, that's it. That personality cult is crazy. Authoritarians all play by the same playbook. True. Mao once was gifted mangoes, and he then donated to a university. The mangoes were thereafter praised and venerated. This is legit some of the exact same things. Yeah, that's how they built their paramount status, right? Just through building this cult of personality, worshipping, and all of those things. To create this legitimacy that they don't have. This is social
Let's do a social
This is a
experiment.
social experiment.
How many CCP bots can this video trigger? Chinese EVs. Chinese EVs. Chinese EVs. Chinese EVs. Chinese EVs. Chinese John Cena. Last I hear, mentioning Xi's name is like repelling the bots. Chinese EVs, Chinese EVs, Chinese EVs, Chinese combustion engines.
Yeah, so something never changes. Me releasing shorts about China and Chinese EVs burning. Two things that never changes in this world.
We're incompetent and can't do math. This man goes to the gas station, he fills up, he noticed something was off, so he got a measuring flask, and it turns out the 1 liter only measures up to 700 milliliters. Relevant authority says that this is a national standard. How about a $1.4 million apartment in China? Well, your party better not turn physical, otherwise your wall might just snap on you. This is a piece of wall that's filled with styrofoam. In a $1.4 million place, they're still using styrofoam. The better question for me is, why does the wall break after you punch it once? And also, remember the SU7 EV from Xiaomi, right? Well, the founder promises that there's a 12-year anti-corrosive paint coat on the outer body. Well, this man is cursing the CEO of Xiaomi after he just received the car for 2 to 3 days, and the paint is already peeling off. I guess it's more like a 1 to 2 days anti-corrosive paint, just enough time to get it out of the factory into the buyer's hand.
That's so crazy. This one's so funny. It's a national standard in China that 1 liter is only 700 milliliters. Apparently, we can't do math.
That was a mooncake exploding, and this is crazy. This man ate half a mooncake, he dropped a piece on the ground, and ants came. Later he found out they all ended. It seems to work better than any ant repellents. What's inside these Chinese-made mooncakes?
Imagine eating a mooncake and all of a sudden it explodes in your mouth. All right, this is again another favorite video that I've made this year, which is the Chinese passport propaganda videos. Absolutely the best.
This Chinese propaganda is hilarious. In a fake encounter, a Chinese man is confronted by local thugs threatening to rob him. He pulls out the Chinese passport and they immediately bow in respect and no longer threaten his safety. Like he's just pulled out a magic amulet to repel bad spirits. What do they expect? Karl Marx to materialize and smite the robbers? Or Mao Zedong's shiny forehead to blind them? Who believes this crap? Well, no sane person would actually pull out a passport and thinks that they're going to help them evade trouble if they're getting robbed. And apparently Chinese nationalistic influencers truly believe that when in danger outside of China, holding out a Chinese passport will deter danger, when in reality, that's probably the one-way ticket to a bad ending. Now, it's one of the worst passports for traveling too, as it requires visas for pretty much all.
Honestly, just making these kind of videos is what drives me to wake up every day and just sifting through the thousands and the thousands of videos on Douyin to find this type of video, which is both hilarious but also sad. But yeah, it's what describes the nature of propaganda in China. This is the Qiqihar Gym Collapse, and this happened again really early into the year, and I think this actually happened, if I recall correctly, like let me take a look here. I think January of 2024, so almost a year ago exactly.
Their kid's body are not being allowed to unless they sign a waiver that says they can no longer seek justice and they will give up on everything and just settle and keep things quiet. In typical CCP fashion, they try to sweep everything under the rug, so they're getting these parents to quietly sign a piece of paper that says they will no longer cause any more problems and trouble for the authorities. Take a look at this video. This was a gymnasium and the entire roof collapsed on the students while they were having the volleyball practice, and 19 people were buried under, 11 have died. And so this has been a situation of people considering, was it a poor construction that led to the situation? And the official claim is that there were building materials on top of the roof and that caused it to expand during heavy rainfall. You can imagine how the parents are feeling right now, since that their kids went to the school and then the next thing you know that they're dead, and the only response from the Chinese government is to tell them to stay quiet and to not seek any more answers. That's the state of China right now under the CCP.
Yeah, so this is just one of the cases that always the typical resolution that they offer is you stay quiet, you sign this paper, we'll give you some compensation. Obviously not enough to match any sort of damage or just pain that the parents feel. But that's just how they end things. The fake waterfall.
Waterfall in China. This is supposed to be the #1 waterfall in all of Asia for its 1,000 feet drop and the beautiful sceneries around it. Well, a man just climbed to the top to the source of the waterfall to only discover it's a pipe. Yep, China really does fake everything, including waterfalls. Now, authorities claim that this is because during drought season, they still want to supplement the water volume, and that's why they use a pipe. And people have discovered with videos showing that the actual pipe runs along the mountain up to supply the water.
That is the most conspicuously inconspicuous hidden pipe I've ever seen. That's so true.
China's something else these days. 3 people got in trouble with the police for wearing the same outfit, and allegedly they didn't report it to the police first. And that's according to new regulations. No more than 2 people can wear the same outfit and gather together. Meanwhile, local authorities are fining people, from ticketing a bike without a license plate, to finding a passenger on a long-distance bus for not wearing a seatbelt, to someone walking. In one province, the finance director visited the traffic police department, and she clearly suggested that traffic police bureaus should try their best to achieve its expected fiscal revenue targets.
This is hilarious. What are you, the fashion police? Chinese police? Yes. No 2 people can wear the same outfit and gather together, students at school. All right, this is last but not least, my favorite video of 2024. Nothing tops this, not because of the funny or just fake stuff, but it's the sheer insanity of what people are doing in China. So this is they're overcharging people by swapping out their dials for utilities, so it runs much faster.
Recently, a gas company in China overcharging its residents, internet users in China have found a new meme. They say Switzerland has 4 famous watch brands with famous dials: IWC, Patek Philippe, Omega, Blancpain. Well, it turns out China also has 4 famous watch brands and their dials: the gas dial, the electricity dial, the water dial, and the petrol dial. And they say that the movement in a watch is the heart of the timepiece. Well, in China, the movement of the dial is the heart attack for the people. Even if you're not home, they go up by themselves. And they can magically be controlled how slow or fast the authorities want them to be. Someone online commented, "You could have just blatantly robbed us. Why bother stealing like this?" Now, it was a big embarrassment after it was exposed because the CCP loves stealing from people and it's running out of money. And they just offer some puny punishment for the company involved. I guess this is the unique characteristic of the CCP, always leading the...
All right, that is our conclusion to 2024. Once again, I want to express my most sincere gratitude for all of you guys for supporting the channel. We started this in October of 2022. So officially, as of New Year's Eve, we are at 1,302,000 subscribers, and we've just had the most amazing growth. And I think we have one of the best community on YouTube because everything is about meme, but also about exposing the truth of what's going on in China. And it's been such a fun journey to spend every single day on YouTube with you guys. So I hope you guys have a wonderful New Year celebration, but also I hope that you guys will stick around for all of the bizarre and crazy stories that will definitely be coming in 2025. And as we know how crazy the world is, I just hope that I can do my part to expose it all, but also do it in such a fun way that we can not view it as good old boring news, but something that will brighten up your day, even if it's really bad. So thanks again for watching China Insider. Have a wonderful night. We'll see you next year.